Buster, Buster.
Living color, do it differently.
Buster, Buster.
Large and in charge, like for the party.
Buster, Buster.
We set the pace, then everybody follow it.
7 flavors, best taste. Buster, bolder, better, better. Pick your color.
We set the pace, then everybody follow it.
Buster, live in full color.
Buster.
TDC Financial Services. We're here for you to help you make your dreams come true. Whether your needs are big or small, we'll support you with them all. TDC Financial Services. We are strong. TDC Financial Services. This is where you belong.
TDC Financial Services, where money is made easy.
Enjoy an elevated experience with your Flow Home Internet and mobile combined.
Giving you the best rate for great savings.
With 120 gigs of double data for anything.
And unlimited talk.
On 4 mobile lines.
Simply combine your Flow Home Internet and mobile for the best rate and value. Unlock double data and unlimited talk on 4 mobile lines to go with home internet speeds up to 35 megabits per second. Visit a Flow store to sign up today. Conditions apply.
Good morning, Sankis and Nevis, and welcome to Voices right here on Win FM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. It is indeed a beautiful Monday morning here in St. Kitts and Nevis. It is 10 minutes past the hour of 11, and you're tuned into 98.9. This is Voices for Monday, November 7th, 2022, and I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining the program today. The phone lines will be open and you can call us at 466-0989 or 662-0989. That is 466-0989 or 662-0989. Of course, you can follow the conversation today via our social media platforms at Win Media SKN. Check out our Facebook page and YouTube channel, as well as Twitch and Twitter. And of course, for the latest in local, regional, and international news, check out www.winmediaskn.com. All right, good morning and welcome to Voices right here on WinFM 98.9. It's a beautiful Monday morning. The rain is falling, but we are back out to work for another week. November is here, and by the time you look around, we're going to be in December, and everybody celebrating Christmas, of course, Thanksgiving coming month end, and of course, New Year. But I'm happy to be here, happy to be alive, and happy to have a conversation with you, the good people of St. Kitts and Nevis, right here on Voices on WinFM 98.9. The phone lines will be open, and so, of course, I anticipate your calls to get your suggestions, your views, your opinions, your concerns on the state of affairs here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, on what is happening. Of course, it's Voices, and so it is an opportunity for you to voice your concern, to voice your opinion on things happening in the country. Of course, over the past few days and weeks, there has been a lot of talk of surrounding our local politics, and even though more so governance in terms of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party new administration led by Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew. They have gotten their share of commendations, of course, at the same time criticisms, and these things are likely. You don't expect everybody to applaud the government. You don't expect everybody to agree with some of the things that the government is doing. But of course, as citizens and residents of St. Kitts and Nevis, we would all want things to be done in our best interest and in the best interest of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. So a lot has been happening. The government has been catching up on their, in terms of meeting with their regional and international friends and partners. As it is right now, the Prime Minister is currently in the Republic of China, Taiwan, on an official state visit there, and he will be participating in a number of diplomatic talks and discussions with the Minister of Foreign Affairs and other high government officials in Taiwan. I think it is a 4-day visit, and also part of his delegation is the Foreign Affairs Minister, Dr. Denzil Douglas, Premier and Leader of the Opposition in the National Assembly, the Honorable Mark Brantley, who is also the Premier of Nevis, as well as Deputy Premier, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, and Member of Parliament in the Nevis Island Assembly, the Honorable Cleon Stapleton Simmons. Also, Senators, the Honorable Dr. Joyal Clark and the Honorable Iselin Phillip, and other representatives or officials from the office of the Prime Minister. It is the Prime Minister's first official state visit to that country. And as you know, Taiwan has been a close friend of St. Kitts and Nevis since independence, since 1983. And so this visit to that country is to, catch up on let me say, their friendship and discuss a number of key areas, a number of matters relating to the development of St. Kitts and Nevis. We know that country has been very helpful and supportive, and has been contributing to the overall development of the country in areas such as agriculture, technology, education, and the list goes on. So they are visiting that country. Of course, COP27 will also be taking place, and a delegation will also be heading to Egypt. I think the Minister with responsibility for climate resilience or climate action, Dr. Joya Clark, will also be there as well. So St. Kitts and Nevis is, let me say, back on the regional and international scene. I say that because, of course, with the pandemic, there wasn't much happening. Most of the meetings and discussions were, they were online. So other countries as well, they could not participate in face-to-face meetings. And then, of course, there was a period of time earlier this year when we were in campaign mode, when we were entering general elections. We could not really, there wasn't really much representation. Let me say much representation. Not saying there wasn't any at all, but much representation from our government officials here. But I see it as a new administration. They're getting in. Some have been there before, others have not, and they're getting in and catching up on a number of areas that relate to the development of the country. It is 17 minutes past the hour of 11 here in the studios of WinFM 98.9, and you're tuned in to Voices. The phone lines are open, and we're taking your calls at 466-0989 or 662-0989. We'll take a break now to give a shout out to our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll continue Voices right here on WinFM 98.9. Let's take this break, and we'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Enjoy an elevated experience with your Flow Home Internet and mobile combined.
Giving you the best rate for great savings.
With 120 gigs of double data for anything.
And unlimited talk.
On 4 mobile lines.
Simply combine your Flow Home Internet and mobile for the best rate and value. Unlock double data and unlimited talk on 4 mobile lines to go with home internet speeds up to 35 megabits per second. Visit a Flow store to sign up today. Conditions apply.
If you need protection, you'll need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you'll need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
Welcome back to Voices right here on WinFM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. It is 21 minutes past the hour of 11, and the phone lines are open. We are taking your calls at 466-0989 or 662-0989. I want to put out a question to you, the listeners, to get your thoughts and your feedback on it. And it has to do, of course, with the government. I do anticipate that there will be mixed feedback in terms of some agreeing and some disagreement. But it has been about, 3 months now? The new administration came into office August 5th. So you have September, October, November. So roughly 3 months. It has been 3 months since the new administration led by Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, has been in office. What are your thoughts on the government's performance thus far? Have they been responding to the needs of the people? Have they been looking after the concerns? How would you rate the performance of the government for the first 3 months? Of course, we don't expect a number of glorious things to be done in 3 months, realistically, because you would also have to give time for them to assess the state of the country, and the finances and all that is there, and what they can actually do, and the campaign promises that they made and what they can actually achieve. So 3 months is a short time, a very, very short time to go out there and achieve a whole number of things. That is why I believe in sometimes our people having patience. Oftentimes, the government would get in today and we expect a brand new focus the next day. These things take time. But based on what you have seen thus far, based on what has been happening, how would you rate the government's performance? Let me say from a scale of 1 to 10. And why? If it's good, if it's bad, if you say 5, why? If you say 10, why? But what are your thoughts on their performance? Do you think that they have been responding to the demands of the people, or have they been focusing on the critical areas such as healthcare, education, agriculture, of course tourism, which is our bread and butter? Have they been working for you, the people? We'll take our first call for this morning. Caller, good morning, you're on the air. Please turn off the radio. There's some feedback.
Yes.
There's some feedback. You have to turn off the radio, okay?
As you mentioned just now.
Caller. Hello?
Yeah.
Before you proceed, you have to turn off your radio. I'm getting too much feedback.
Okay. They're still in the probationary period. And by right, we shouldn't expect too much at this right now.
Yes.
We have to give them at least 4 to 6 months down the road to get things straightened out.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing for us to stay out here and say this and say that. Another thing to be in there. And I think what they've done so far, they're going good. They're on the right track. But you still have to give them time. It's only fair to give people time to catch themselves.
That is true.
There are new set of people a lot of them without experience. So let's give them time. It's only fair. I know there are a lot of unscrupulous people out here who are willing to say all kind of things, But we have to give them time. And I can't tell you what topic to choose, but this topic right now is not relevant. Anyhow, they're doing a good job.
Well, thank you, caller, for your opinion and your contribution to this program. The phone lines are open and we're taking your calls at 466-0989 or 662-0989. That is 466-0989 or 662-0989. It is 25 minutes past the hour of 11. I understand where the caller is coming from, and as I mentioned, 3 months is, yes, very still early, so you don't expect the government to come and achieve all of these things in such a short space of time. As you know, a 3-month period is usually a probationary window. When you come in, you assess the situation, you see what you're dealing with, you see what resources you have to carry out the mandate and some of the responsibilities of the government. So not at all am I suggesting that, well, it's been 3 months, so the government must come and do this and do that and do this and do that. Absolutely not. Because, and as the caller rightly said, I mean, from the outside looking in, we can always say, well, we want this to be done, or we think the government should do this, or this needs to happen. No, but when you get on the inside and you realize that the situation is not what you thought it would have been, then you realize you have some changes and adjustments to make in order to get some of these things done. But based on what you're seeing now with the 3 months, what are your thoughts? As I said, some would say that the government is performing well. Others may disagree. That is your opinion. That is your view. That is absolutely fine by me. Of course, as long as we are respectful. But it's a 3-month window, so it's a very short time. So you don't expect to see a brand new hospital. You don't expect to see a brand new school. These things take time. As a matter of fact, these things take more than just a term. These things, they take more than just a term. For me, I want to highlight some of the work that the Attorney General has been doing, has been focusing on our laws and making the necessary amendment and changes and all of that. And of course, we are looking forward to these changes. I mean, you can't always stick by how you used to do it 10 years ago or 15 years ago and say, well, this is how we did it 10 years ago. This is how we're going to continue doing it because it is it has been working and there is no need for us to change it. But the change is necessary. Trying something new is necessary. I think the caller made the point, I stand to be corrected, but they made the point that you have some of the members who are new, but they are educated people. They are people who have worked in both private and public sector, so they would have an understanding of how things are supposed to be done. But in from my point of view, I think the government has been focusing on the key areas, as I said, such as education, healthcare, agriculture, tourism. Those are the key areas. Those are that's what I'm looking for. Those are the areas of the economy that people, usually rely on in terms of education. We got the announcement from the Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Jeffrey Hanley, that plans are in the works, in the pipeline for the construction of the Bastia High School and fixing that issue. We know that has been a major talking point for quite some time. Of course, in healthcare, looking at the many issues that we have in healthcare. Of course, our healthcare would never be 100%. And we don't expect our healthcare to be on the same level as healthcare in, Singapore or in Miami or New York or some other advanced country, right? But we still expect that there will be affordable healthcare and quality healthcare. Tourism, COVID is now a thing of the past, and not entirely across the board in terms of all over the world, because there are still some countries that still have protocols in place for COVID-19 and some countries that are still monitoring cases. But as it is here in St. Kitts and Nevis, in the Caribbean, and in most of our source markets, where our tourists come from, COVID is not so much of a big deal, and so the tourism sector is coming back. It's bouncing back after that 2-year, I don't even know what to call it, boy, disaster. I mean, everything was locked down and shut down. So we are getting back there, and as I mentioned earlier, these visits and discussions with regional governments and international governments, all these form part of the mandate and responsibilities of a government. These things are important. These things are necessary. It is 11:30, so we'll take a break to give a shout out to our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll continue Voices right here on Win FM 98.9. Let's take this break, and we'll be right back.
Interesting topic. This is a show for kids, created by kids. Conversations with our kids. Every Saturday morning at 10, only on Win Media.
Listen live on Win FM 98.9 or at winmediaskn.com. Conversation with our kids. Every Saturday morning at 10, only on Win FM. Also streaming live at Win Media SKN on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Caribbean tourism is dead in the water.
This is the official invitation to the
Get conscious.
Enjoy an elevated experience with your Flow Home Internet and mobile combined.
Giving you the best rate for great savings.
With 120 gigs of double data for anything.
And unlimited talk.
On 4 mobile lines.
Simply combine your Flow Home Internet and mobile for the best rate and value. Unlock double data and unlimited talk on 4 mobile lines to go with home internet speeds up to 35 megabits per second. Visit a Flow store to sign up today. Conditions apply.
Campari, grapefruit, easy fi we. Brother he no hard it, easy fi we. Campari, in a cup, easy fi we. Brother he no hard it, easy fi we. Add the Campari with the grapefruit soda. That easy, bitter had the pre. Simple mixer, easy 1 3. Campari, grapefruit, that easy fi we. Fi mix a Campari grapefruit. Add 1 part Campari to 3 parts grapefruit soda. Drink at the bar, on the beach, or when a girl reach. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Buying your medication is easy with City Drugstore's curbside pickup. WhatsApp our certified pharmacist at 662-8769 with your requests. For prescriptions, take a clear photograph and send for review. We will engage you in dialogue and then provide a quotation and link for payment. You can then pay via TDC's online payment portal. And once the transaction is complete, you'll be notified that your pickup is ready. Yes, it's that easy. Send your WhatsApp message to 662-8769 to order your medications today with City Drugstore's curbside pickup service.
Welcome back to Voices right here on Win FM 98.9. It is 11:35 here in our studios. Of course, we break at 12 for the headline news, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation right here. The phone lines are open, and we are taking your calls at 4660989 or 6620989. That is 4660989 or 6620989. I'm your host for today, Monday, November 7th, 2022, Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining the conversation for today. Welcome back to Voices. I'm not sure how many of you have seen this, but the Prime Minister in Dominica, Roosevelt Skerritt, has announced the date for general elections. Dominica will be going to the polls in December 6th. It says Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt Sunday night announced December 6th as the date for a snap general election in Dominica. Of course, this came as a shocker to many. Just yesterday, with the I think it was subtropical storm Nicole, I sent to be corrected, that I believe passed over Dominica, left some damage there. And so when we saw the notice that the Prime Minister would be addressing the nation that is in Dominica, everybody, I thought that it was in relation to the damage that was caused in that country, only to be told that the Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt went and announced the date for general elections in the country. Came as a shocker too, because a lot of people did not see that coming. A lot of people did not anticipate. I mean, general elections, I think the elections are constitutionally due in 2025. Remember, there is I think there's a 3-month grace period, because it has to go back to when the Parliament was first held, the opening of the Assembly. So that is the entire 5-year period there. But nobody, I think, saw that coming in terms of the Prime Minister announcing general elections in Dominica. So they head to the polls on the 6th of December, and the nomination day is on the 18th. No, this is going to be what should I say now? In terms of, we're gonna have some elections this year in the Caribbean, because in Nevis, political pundits have been hinting that there may be a local election there, the Nevis Island Assembly elections. Many believe that it will be called in December, which is next month, but it is not due until March of 2023. March 2023. But many believe that it will be called in December of this year. As a matter of fact, some have been bold enough to call dates. I'm not sure what dates you guys have been hearing, but early December, mid-December. I don't want to put out a date. I don't want to say a date, but let me just say early December, mid-December. Some of the things I've been hearing. But the elections, the Nevis Island Assembly elections, are not due until March 2023. But some believe that it will be called this year. The campaign on the island is heating up. Both the major political parties, the Concerned Citizens Movement, that's the ruling party there, and the opposition Nevis Reformation Party, and then you have the Moral Restoration Movement, MRM, which is a fairly new party. We have some callers on the line, so let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Hello, caller. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Devon.
Good morning. How are you today?
Man, you're giving God thanks for the rain. You know, I told you I was praying for it, you know.
Oh, yes. Well, the Lord has answered your prayers.
All I beg him, answer the next part. No flooding.
Oh, yes. You can't
make sure to tell him it's the Lord Jesus.
Wait, you have to turn off the radio.
Turn it off.
Yeah, there's some feedback there.
Tell me, Lord, please. You hear what happened in St. Lucia?
Yes, and I heard some reports coming out of St. Lucia, Dominica. There was also some flooding down in St. Martin.
You understand? Mm-hmm. I tell people, thank God we ain't gonna river, you know. Mm-hmm. Say, oh, you ain't gonna river? Say, thank you, Jesus. Dominica said they got 365. Any little bit of rain they got in. Trinidad too, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Flooding down there, you know. Now my heart go out to all of our people. Because we ain't gonna FEMA. You got to begin to help yourself. Now, good morning to all your listeners, but I hope all of you giving thanks, you know. Because I told somebody, saying, oh, you know, we ain't got nothing. I said, darling, no rain, no water, you know. I don't ever see the connection. Because the rainfall has been low. And we're heading to the end of the hurricane season. I mean, of course, you get rain in December.
Yes.
You know, so I beg the Lord, please. I don't like how it's falling soft. Because the other day, it was not kind of rain and water was going to KFC up by the step. And I live in Newtown, where once the water can get out to the sea, it come back up. So I hope all those who are responsible for clearing the drain, so the water could go down to the sea, because we have a good slope, eh? St. Kitts and Nevis, we have a good slope. Now, you can't assess what you don't see. The first part of your question. One thing I give them credit for, the traveling. They get a 10 for traveling, you know. I never, in my lifetime, see a government just come in and could travel so. Right now, how many ministers out of the country?
I'm not sure.
The Prime Minister, Dr. Douglas, I think, and 2 other ministers, I don't mean counting in the Nevis one. I mean, that is what they have been doing since they've gone in. They have been traveling, some may be necessary, eh? But this excessive thing, they get a 10.
But no. why would you call it excessive in terms of what?
I just tell you, in all your years, you ever see all the government ministers sometimes left one? I mean, you wasn't born yesterday. You ever heard of it in any country even around here? They don't.
Okay.
But we you know, it's kind of tit for tat, we tolerate it. So anyway, what I will say, somebody talk about give them time. I keep saying our people lack political education, you know. We just campaign. You have a shadow government. You know what I mean by shadow governments, right?
Yes.
You were in? Yes. They should not have been caught with their pants down to go and say, we don't know. If you are following, cause in other countries, even Jamaica and other countries, they do it, you know. They take this thing seriously even during the year. Any issue comes in any department or ministry, they are well informed.
I know for a fact in Jamaica it's a big thing.
Jamaica, yeah.
Yeah, they take it very, very serious.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's true.
So all of these excuses making shouldn't be. If you are following kind of things, everything does leak, eh? Everybody has the people.
But Carla, not to cut you off though, even though you would have the shadow government who would be, you're basically looking over the actual government and following and checking up on different departments and ministries, you would say that you're not actually in the government. So when you get in there is when you get the opportunity to really assess what is there and what you can do based on what you have. So I would say, I mean, I am not one who would say, oh, give the government a pass. I believe in holding our elected officials accountable, but at the same time, you would agree with me that it has been 3 months. So it's not that they've been there for 3 years and still don't know what's happening in the country. It's been 3 months.
You know, Thomas, 5 years, right? Every moment count. How many years since Dominic had his last election?
I think about 2 years, I believe. 2 years. I'm not entirely sure, but about 2 years.
You said it will be 2025?
Yeah.
So it's only 2 years?
Yeah, about 2 years, yeah.
Now, this is what you call taking advantage, you know. Lincoln resigned, I think, sometime last month, right? as head of the party, the opposition party.
Yes, yes.
They have not chosen a leader yet. I think it's unscrupulous. So while the opposition is in disarray, you call election? What do you think about that?
Huh. That's a tricky one. That is why people have been calling for set election dates. But the thing is, though, if you have a set election date, isn't it that you can call it after the time?
Yes, you can, but under the circumstances in Dominica, that's what I'm talking about, you know? I mean, you know, parties say, well, we take the advantage. It may go down well, it may go against you too. But have they named anybody as the leader of the opposition yet?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so, no.
No? So how could you call the election and they ain't got no leader?
Well, one would argue. One would argue
what he
that
was offering, right, in terms of the pension.
Go ahead.
And so, we don't play games. The people in this thing, you know, they have damage from the rainstorm. And you call election no? I mean, we got to hold our people, our politicians accountable. That is irresponsible. Because the rain ain't even finished. Right next door to you, St. Lucia, I think that landslide and so in Dominica, isn't that so?
Yes.
Yeah. So the island is now having damages, and you call an election because the opposition don't have a leader?
All right. We're going to take some more calls, all right, so
then.
quickly. All right, thank you so much for your contribution to this program. It's 11:50, and the phone lines are open. We're taking your calls at 466-0989 or 662-0989. That's 466-0989 or 662-0989. It's 11:50. We break at 12 for the headline news, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation there. I'm your host for today's edition of Voices, Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. So, snap general elections in Dominica came as a shocker to many people. We thought, because I got the notification that, the Prime Minister would be addressing the nation there. But I thought it was in relation to the damage that they had from the passage of the tropical storm. Now, realizing that the man gone and dissolve the whole parliament, dissolve the whole house, and is going to call an election basically 3 years, 3 years early, you know, and then with the opposition down there not in a position to contest the election, put them at a disadvantage. What I would say, however, is that and it may sound heartless or selfish, but the Prime Minister, I mean, you as the Prime Minister, is it that you are expected to wait on your opponent to get ready to call the election? I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? So, because that would suggest that, well, let me wait until this person picks up speed or picks up momentum for me to ring the bell, and then they put up a greater challenge. At the same time, I can see where some people are coming from in terms of taking advantage and all of that, because you know that the opposition leader just resigned and they're basically not in a position to contest an election. So to go and ring the bell now, I mean, I don't know. But it shall be interesting. I mean, is left to be seen. Of course, you know, the political pundits now are going to come out and predict who they think will win, whether it be the opposition there or the ruling party. As it is now, the opposition doesn't appear to be quite ready in terms of their leader and candidate and all of these things in place. We'll take a short break to give a shout out to our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll continue Voices right here on WinFM 98.9. Stick and stay. We'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust to secure your investment. You need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
Enjoy an elevated experience with your Flow Home Internet and mobile combined.
Giving you the best rate for great savings.
With 120 gigs of double data for anything.
And unlimited talk.
On 4 mobile lines.
Simply combine your Flow Home Internet and mobile for the best rate and value. Unlock double data and unlimited talk on 4 mobile lines to go with home internet speeds up to 35 megabits per second. Visit a Flow store to sign up today. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to Voices right here on WinFM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Let me say thank you so much for your contribution and participation in today's, the first hour of today's program. Of course, we'll break at 12 for the headline news, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation right here on WinFM 98.9. This is Voices for Monday, November 7, 2022. And we break at 12 for the headline news. For those of you who are just joining the program, of course, I'm sharing with you that the Prime Minister in Dominica has announced general elections very early, very, very, very early. The elections were not due until 2025. And so Dominicans are heading to the polls. Nomination day, I'm told, is November 18th. And the people of Dominica will elect a new government on the 6th of December. As I said, the Christmas, it looks as if it's going to be a very busy Christmas in terms of our politics, or Caribbean politics, because hints have been dropped over there in Nevis as well, and suggesting that the Nevis Island Assembly elections may be called in December. The elections are not due until March of 2023, but political pundits believe that the elections may be in December. Some say early December. Others say mid-December. But it is left to be seen. Of course, this announcement would have to be made by the Premier when he asks the Deputy Governor General to dissolve the assembly there and the head to the polls. There are three parties, of course, two major parties, the ruling Concerned Citizens Movement, CCM, and the opposition Nevis Reformation Party, NRP. And, of course, you have the Moral Restoration Movement, MRM, which is a fairly new party. They're headed by Sam Keynes, the NRP, Dr. Johnny Daniel Hodge, and the CCM, the Honorable Mark Brantley. These are the three parties that will be, NRP and CCM for sure. Moral Restoration Movement, they have indicated their interest and desire to contest the elections, but they have not ruled out a full slate of candidates. So perhaps they'll just run with the candidates that they have. It is the top of the hour, so we'll take a break now for the headline news. And when we come back, we'll continue Voices right here on WinFM 98.9. Stick and stay. We'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and the ICDF Taiwan Technical Mission.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
With over a century of perfection behind the Magasin name, A smooth blend with perfect balance and richness. It's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoy the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Till you walk with a low reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business, property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, we got you covered. 130 years in this business, we've got you covered. For all your insurance needs, visit or call us at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Dealey Walwyn, people you can trust.
Think before you bin it. There can be some use in it. The Nevis Solid Waste Management Authority, in collaboration with Taiwan ICDF Technical Mission and the Department of Environment, presents Let's Recycle. We're encouraging all residential homes, commercial businesses, and schools to bring along your plastic bottles, metal cans, and aluminum cans, ready for an opportunity to win big. From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the following locations: in Nevis, every second and fourth Friday of each month at Delta Petroleum, ex-Petrol in Camps, Big Six in Gingerland, and the Old Artisan Village in Charlestown. In St. Kitts, every second and fourth Tuesday at the Connery Roundabout, every first and third Tuesday at Buckley's parking lot in front of Best Buy, and the last Saturday of each month in Deep Bay. But wait, that's not all. 1 pound equals 1 point. So bring your recyclables and build up your points for a chance to win stainless steel thermal bottles, flatware, and much more. To learn more about the recycling project, do visit our Facebook page at Let's Recycle in St. Kitts and Nevis, or contact us at 465-2372. The choice is yours. Save it or waste it. You are the difference. So think smart. Take PAT, reduce, reuse, recycle.
With the Win Headline News, I am Devon Cornelius. St. Kitts and Nevis delegation arrives in Taiwan on official business mission. St. Kitts and Nevis Trades and Labor Union installs new executive committee for 2022-2023. Across the region, snap general elections in Dominica. Internationally, Donald Trump and Joe Biden fire up voters ahead of U.S. midterm elections. The details of these and other stories straight ahead. Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, and other officials from the Federation arrived in Taiwan on Monday morning, November 7th, 2022, China Standard Time, where they will be engaged in diplomatic discussions relating to the further development of St. Kitts and Nevis. In his arrival message, Prime Minister Dr. Drew said not only is Taiwan an asset to St. Kitts and Nevis, but can also valuably address and provide solutions to some of the world's greatest challenges.
The Republic of China, Taiwan, and St. Kitts and Nevis established diplomatic relations since we attained independence from Great Britain in September 1983. We stand today on the solid platform of diplomatic engagement, which has resulted in practical and tangible solutions for many of the challenges we face as one of the smallest nations in the world. We are proud of our record of strident and continuous support for Taiwan, particularly in our advocacy for its increased inclusion in international fora. We are convinced that Taiwan can make a contribution to solving some of the world's most challenging problems, be they be related to healthcare, economics, agriculture, industry, culture, climate change, development in general.
The St. Kitts and Nevis delegation to Taiwan includes former Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Right Honorable Dr. Denzil Douglas, Leader of the Opposition in the National Assembly, and Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley, Deputy Premier, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, Senators, the Honorable Dr. Joyal Clark and Honorable Iseline Phillip, Member of Parliament in the Nevis Island Assembly, the Honorable Cleon Stapleton Simmons, as well as officials from the Office of the Prime Minister, Samuel Berridge and Hazel Jeffers. Prime Minister Dr. Drew expressed his appreciation to the government and people of the Republic of China, Taiwan, for their warm hospitality.
I take this opportunity to convey warm greetings from the government and people of St. Kitts and Nevis, your friends and partners in international development. We are truly honored to be here to strengthen the bonds of friendship between our two countries. I would also like to thank the government and people of the Republic of China, Taiwan for their warm hospitality and the excellent arrangements put in place to ensure that we have a successful mission.
While on mission, Dr. Drew will be given military honors on the square in front of the presidential office, which is the standard protocol for every head of government on an inaugural visit to Taiwan. He will then meet with Her Excellency Dr. Tsai Ing-wen, President of the Republic of China, Taiwan, followed by a state banquet. In addition, the St. Kitts and Nevis officials will be engaged in meetings with Taiwan's Minister of Mainland Affairs and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, who will host them for dinner. Also listed on the agenda is the delegation's meeting with the Environmental Protection Administration, National Health Insurance Administration, Ministry of Health and Welfare, as well as a meeting with the students from St. Kitts and Nevis at the Embassy of St. Kitts and Nevis in Taipei. The Prime Minister and his delegation will conclude their mission on Thursday, November 10th, with a visit to Taipei Veterans General Hospital and the International Cooperation and Development Fund, ICDF. Under the theme, "The Time to Rebuild is Now," delegates gathered at the 83rd Annual Conference of the St. Kitts Nevis Trades and Labor Union on Sunday, October 30th, 2022, at the Solid Waste Management Corporation Conference Room located at Taylor's Range in Bastia, which saw the election of new members and returning members making up the executive body for the Workers' Representative Organization. Elected officers President Sidney Bridgewater, Second Vice President James Pemberton, General Secretary Precious Mills, and Treasurer Tanisa Keynes Charles have been returned to their positions. Additionally, newcomer Gwenidine Pemberton has been elected as the Assistant General Secretary, a post previously held by Curtis Francis, who is now the newly elected First Vice President. Returning floor members include Nadine Natta, Mitchell Slater, Sean Kelly, Eva Henderson, George Dixon, Stanley Franks Jr., Oscar Mills, Julian Morton, and newcomer Lloyd Rouse. Elections were conducted during the afternoon business session. President Bridgewater, in his address at the public session of the conference, outlined that the St. Kitts and Nevis Trades and Labor Union remains relevant. Bridgewater referred to the founder of the St. Kitts Workers' League, Thomas Manchester, who in an open letter to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis said in part that the league was formed for the purpose as embodied in the words of their motto, "For the good that we can do." At the outset, it was decided that as a body, we should associate ourselves with any movement that tends for betterment of conditions in St. Kitts and Nevis, or generally in the improvement of man. The 2022 guest speaker was 22-year-old Robertine Webb, Director of the Creative Economy in the Ministry of Culture. Her topic was Creatives Are Workers.
This is the Carib Update News Service. I am Wendy Chateau reporting. Ruling Dominica Labour Party to unveil a slew of new candidates Tuesday for a snap general election on December 6. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit is going to the polls 2 years ahead of schedule. This is the big story we're tracking this hour on Monday, November 7, 2021. Details of this story and more straight ahead. Now for the details. Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit begins his re-election campaign in earnest on Tuesday after announcing a snap election for December 6. In a national address Sunday night, Prime Minister Skerrit caught the nation by surprise when he announced the new poll 2 years ahead of schedule.
With that in mind, I shall lead a new-look Dominica Labour Party into fresh general elections that will be held at the soonest possible time. I want for the year 2023 to begin with a fresh mandate given to a fresh Labour team to commence the work of building post-COVID Dominica. With this in mind, today I wrote to His Excellency the President and advised he dissolves the current Parliament of this country effective immediately. I have asked that a fresh writ be issued on Monday, 7th November 2022 for the holding of general elections in the Commonwealth of Dominica. The Dominica Labour Party will reveal its new-look slate of candidates in Roseau on Tuesday, November 8th. Nomination day in Dominica shall be Friday, the 18th of November, 2022. General Elections Day in Dominica, the day on which the Labour Party will be seeking a fresh mandate with a fresh team, is Tuesday, 6 December 2022.
The Dominican leader is expected to unveil his slate of candidates Tuesday that watchers say will include more than a third of new candidates. The announcement will have caught the main opposition United Workers' Party by surprise, which currently has an interim leader after Lennox Linton resigned in August. The UWP was scheduled to elect a new leader at a convention on November 27. There were no immediate reactions by daybreak from the UWP. Skerrit, who only turned 50 earlier this year, has dominated politics in Dominica and has also since become one of the foremost leaders in the Caribbean. During his national address Sunday night, Skerrit hinted that the December 6 elections could be his last.
On this occasion of national reset, I have listened to the views of all and I have made a personal decision which I have shared with some of my party elders. You have given me a mandate that constitutionally allows me to remain in office as your Prime Minister until April 2025. I do not intend to go beyond that date. I have run my race and I intend to finish the course, with Dominica safely back on a road of sustained progress and prosperity. That is why I am calling for a national reset. I would like, however, to preside over a peaceful and dignified transition of prime ministerial leadership to someone of my party and my colleagues' choosing.
The latest round of global climate negotiations have begun with the opening of COP27 in Egypt. Leaders are meeting in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, for 2 weeks of climate negotiations as nations struggle to cut greenhouse gas emissions amid a global energy crisis, war in Europe, and rising inflation. At last year's summit in Scotland, countries agreed they must immediately do more to prevent a dangerous rise in global temperatures, but fast action has not materialized. Former Grenada Minister Simon Steele is now the Executive Secretary of the United Nations Climate Change Secretariat, and in an address Sunday, he urged nations to ensure implementation of prior agreements.
The heart of implementation is everybody, everywhere in the world, every single day, doing everything they possibly can to address the climate crisis.
With the world watching, Steele said the time has come to turn words into action. Tensions between rich polluting countries and poor nations bearing the brunt of climate impacts over the question of who should pay the costs of global warming are expected to mark the conference. Climate experts say that progress in 2022 has been slow, with governments around the world distracted by global energy and financial crises. This is Newsbreak from the Carib Update News Service. In more news, Haitian gang leader Jimmy Barbecue Cherizé said on Sunday that fuel trucks can approach the Voro terminal without fare for their safety, days after police broke up a blockade that had halted fuel distribution for nearly 2 months. The G9 coalition of gangs led by Cherizé in mid-September dug trenches and put up barricades at the entrance of Voro, leading to crippling fuel shortages and creating a humanitarian crisis as Haitians struggled to find food and water. Haiti's police on Friday said they had retaken control of the terminal after confronting the gangs in the area. Heavy shooting continued on Saturday, said one source familiar with the situation, adding things had calmed down on Sunday. It was still not evident when fuel would begin flowing. Tyrone Downey, a pivotal member of Bob Marley and the Wailers, died in Kingston, Jamaica on Sunday at the age of 66. The Wailers disclosed the organist-keyboardist passing on the band's official Facebook page, but did not give a cause of death. Downey joined the Wailers just before the age of 20, making his recording debut with the band on Rastaman Vibration. His signature keyboards were heard on such hits as Three Little Birds. Downey became one of the most in-demand session musicians in Jamaica during the 1970s. He played on Legalize It by Peter Tosh, Blackheart Man by Bunny Wailer, and Marcus Garvey by Burning Spear. He played on every Marley studio album after Live, including Rastaman Vibration, Exodus, and Kaya. This has been another edition of Newsbreak from the Carib Update News Service, the Caribbean's newsroom. I am Wendy Chateau reporting.
US political leaders have been hitting the campaign trail in the final hours before the midterm elections. These polls will determine who controls Congress for the next 2 years, and they'll almost certainly set the agenda for the next presidential race in 2024. Donald Trump and President Biden have both been lending their weight to their chosen candidates' rallies over the weekend. Our North America correspondent Neda Tawfiq reports from a Trump rally in Miami.
Donald Trump's name may not be on the ballot this election, but his agenda sure is. With the stage set for a Republican sweep in Florida, the former president sought to energize the crowd of his supporters in Miami and to urge them to vote to repudiate Democrats' policies.
If you want to stop the destruction of our country and save the American dream, you don't hear too much about the American dream over the last 2 years, then this Tuesday you must go out and vote Republican in this giant red wave.
His nearly 90-minute speech touched on familiar themes, including the border wall and the investigations against him. Donald Trump has been emboldened by the latest polls showing his party is likely to take one and perhaps both chambers of Congress. Once again, he teased his potential return.
In order to make our country successful, safe, and glorious, I will probably have to do it again, but stay tuned.
Donald Trump hasn't announced he's running again, but his supporters are already preparing for it. In the meantime, the upcoming midterm elections have certainly heightened the feeling that they are in a battle to save America.
I'm voting for conservative voices that are pro-God, pro-country, pro-family, pro-life.
I'm a father, and I want my daughter to be raised with Make America Great Again.
There's a lot at stake in the midterm election. For one, the control of Congress, but also Donald Trump's status if he goes after the presidency once more. Neda Tawfiq, BBC News, Miami.
That was the WinFM Headline News. The Headline News is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and the ICDF Taiwan Technical Mission.
Think before you bin it. There can be some use in it. The St. Kitts and Nevis Solid Waste Management, in collaboration with Taiwan ICDF Technical Mission and the Department of Environment, presents Let's Recycle. We are encouraging all residential homes, commercial businesses, and schools to bring along your plastic bottles, metal cans, and aluminum cans, ready for an opportunity to win big. From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. every second and fourth Tuesday each month at the following locations in St. Kitts: the Connery Roundabout, every first and third Tuesday at Buckley's parking lot in front of Best Buy, and the last Saturday of each month in Deep Bay. In Nevis, every second and fourth Friday of each month at Delta Petroleum, Ex-Petrol in Camps, Big Six in Gingerland, and Old Artisan Village in Charlestown. But wait, that's not all. 1 pound equals 1 point. So bring your recyclables and build up your points for a chance to win stainless steel thermal bottle, flatware set, and much more. To learn more about the recycling project, do visit our Facebook page at Let's Recycle in St. Kitts and Nevis, or contact us at 465-2372. The choice is yours. Save it or waste it. You are the difference. Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Dealing well with a local reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business, property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, we got you covered. 130 years in this business, we got you covered. For all your insurance needs, visit or call us at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Dealey Walwyn, people you can trust.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Found the sound 98.9 Win FM.
Win FM weather.
It's time now for the Win FM weather report, and it's brought to you by Beacon Insurance.
It's time to do better. Beacon's Be Better Group Health Plan now offers new and improved options that make health insurance affordable for small to medium businesses. Good medical cover gives you a competitive edge and takes care of the people that take care of your business. Get a better plan to build a better business. Call Kane Agencies or log on to beacon.co.tt for more info today.
Time now for the weather report. Temperature today is 75 degrees Fahrenheit. The forecast. Today will be mostly cloudy with an 80% or a very high chance of showers with a 40% chance of thunderstorms. By tonight, it'll be mostly cloudy with a 70% or high chance of showers. Winds are south to southeast at 12 to 21 miles per hour, with possible gusts up to 39 miles per hour. Seas 1.5 to 2.1 meters or 5 to 7 feet. Newly formed subtropical storm Nicole, northwest of Puerto Rico, will maintain unsettled and weather conditions today across most of the eastern Caribbean. Periods of showers and possible thunderstorms are likely. Conditions will begin to improve for the southern Leeward Islands southward from late tonight into tomorrow as the storm drifts away from the area. That was a 1FM weather report brought to you by Beacon Insurance.
Isn't it great when your experience pays off? Finally, drivers 50 years and over can enjoy the benefits of their years of driving experience. With Beacon's 50 Plus plan, you can expect a hassle-free sign-up, affordable fixed rates, and free windscreen cover with your car insurance. Call Kane Agencies Limited at 465-3333 or log on to beacon.co.tt and get driving today.
Fresh Look Paint and Tile Sale. Give your home a fresh look with a fresh coat of paint and a fresh set of tiles. From Holtzwood's Building and Evil Center's 25% off Fresh Look Paint and Tile Sales event. Yes, come to Holtzwood's Building and Evil Centers today and get fresh savings of 25% off all paints and tiles store-wide. Come and give your home a fresh new look with fresh savings and fresh new colors. Fresh new piles of tiles in all styles with a fresh 25% off store-wide on all paints and tiles at Holtzwood's Building and Evil Center. Give your home a fresh start with a fresh new look with fresh new colors, fresh new piles of tiles in all styles, and fresh quality paint at Horswood's Building and Evil Center. Fresh Look 25% off paints and tiles sales event. See store for details.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Voices right here on Win FM 98.9. It is 12:35 here in our studios, and the phone lines are open. We're taking your calls at 4660989 or 6620989. We want to hear from you on the state of affairs here in St. Kitts and Nevis. In the first hour, I told you about the snap general elections to be held in Dominica on December 6th. And I am told that nomination day is the 18th. And so Dominicans are heading back to the polls very early, just after about, 2 years. Elections are not due until 2025. But for some reason, the Prime Minister there, perhaps he feels very confident that the people of Dominica will give him another term. They are seeking another term. He announced that the party will be announcing its slate of candidates very soon. And so over the next few days, we can expect some heat from Dominica in terms of the politics and new candidates. And of course, I believe you guys know how elections go. We just came out of one. But yes, that is happening there in Dominica. I also told you that there are some political pundits hinting that there may be an election in Nevis, the Nevis Island Assembly elections constitutionally due in March of 2023, but may be called in December. Some say it may be in early December or mid-December. We have a caller on the line, so we will take this call. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes, with reference to Dominica, it appears that Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit is power obsessed or power hungry. With all this climatic condition going on around the place, I don't know why he don't wait until the time is due for election. What is his problem?
Mm-hmm.
I hope that the people of Dominica would disappoint him. That's all I have to say.
Mm-hmm. Do you think they would, though?
I think I would like it to happen.
Okay. What are your thoughts on talks about local election in Nevis next month?
The same thing. I don't know what's the hurry with these Caribbean politicians. What is the problem? Nobody want to come out of power. Everybody wants to stay in power all the time. I hope that they suffer the same fate.
All right. Well, caller, thank you so much for your contribution to this program. We are still taking your calls right here on Voices, Win FM 98.9. The phone lines are open. You can call us at 4660989 or 6620989. Of course, you can also follow us on our social media platforms, our Facebook page and YouTube channel, as well as Twitch and Twitter at Win Media SKN. And of course, our website for the latest in local, regional, and international news, winmediaskn.com. This is Voices. We want to hear from you, and so we are anticipating your calls. It is about 12:38, and oh my gosh, the rain is falling. I know we've been praying for the rain. Yes, we just don't want the flooding part of it. So the rain can fall. I would have preferred if the rain had fallen when I was in my bed, though, wrapped up in my sheet and maybe watching a movie or something. But the rain decided to fall today, Monday. Nevertheless, we are grateful. we are grateful for the rain. We just don't want the flooding part of it. I know some of you perhaps have heard and seen, what's been going on there in St. Lucia, Dominica, St. Martin, with the flooding happening in those countries. So our thoughts and prayers go out to the people of those countries, and I do believe that we have Kiddishers and individuals who reside in these countries, especially in the St. Martin side, and trust that they would take the necessary precaution and safeguard their family and people who are near and dear to them. But your thoughts on the upcoming election, what do you expect coming out of Nevis and coming out of Dominica. Dominica, very close, and I know we do have a few people who follow the regional politics, in terms of what is happening in that country, how the government is performing, how the opposition is responding, and how the people are responding to both opposition and government. So what are your thoughts on this, the upcoming general elections in Dominica and the upcoming local elections in Nevis? As I said, they are not due until March 2023, but many believe it may be called in December. The last time elections were held in Nevis was December 2017, and then the first sitting of the House was held the following year. So that is why they have that 3-month grace period or 3-month window of March 2023, because it's actually when the first parliament is held and not necessarily when the election was held, but the first parliament. So they have up until that time to call the election, and people are getting into the campaign mode. I know for sure. I do have a few colleagues in Dominica, and they've been posting on their statuses who they think gonna win. I mean, but it's always interesting when you come around these election things, because we will have the pollsters and the pundits and people this and the expert that, who they're going to come and say who is going to win. But at the end of it all, I mean, it's up for the people to decide. I mean, you can always predict and say who you think is going to win based on the current trend, based on how things are happening in the country, based on the performance of the government, and based on the response or performance of the opposition as well. Because I there are some people who believe that opposition shouldn't perform. I mean, after all, the opposition has elected representatives, so they still have a duty representing their constituents. But as I said, we like to predict and say who we think gonna win, and then when the time comes, we get a whole shocker. Yeah, I mean, we saw what happened in our elections here in St. Kitts and Nevis, where a bunch of polls were going around suggesting that this would win and that would win, and then the night of the election, when the results were coming in, I think some people fell out of their chair and could not believe. I'm being frank here. But it will be interesting to see what will happen, especially in Dominica. I mean, for you to call the election so early, you have to be very confident. I mean, Mia Motley did the same thing, and perhaps she was confident. But you know what's interesting? When Mia Motley announced the elections in Dominica, everybody was saying that she was going to lose. I thought she was going to lose too, so I apologize. But everybody thought that she was going to the Barbados, her party was going to lose the election, but they maintained a majority. Did they win all of their seats? I think they did. Yes, I think her party won all of their seats in the assembly there in the house there in Barbados. So you could always predict and say what you think gonna happen, but at the end of the day, it is up to the people to decide. There is always a trend as well, or a belief, let me say, that the government usually would have the upper hand because you are in government, and it is perceived that when you are in government, you use the state resources to assist you in your campaign. And so that is why people would often say, well, you know, they're in government, so they have access to this, they have access to that. They can use that access to assist them in the campaign, to assist them in the election. I don't know. I don't know if it happens or what. I mean, you look at it. That's why some people would always assume that is the case, because sometimes you look at these campaigns and like, what? These things are, some of the things that you see are like, okay, this ain't really adding up, but Okay, so it will be an interesting race. People have been asking for my opinion there in terms of what is going to happen. Me, I don't really like to say what is going to happen, because at the end of the day, it's really up to the people to decide. You can always say, what you would want to happen. And you would have your personal bias as to who you would want to win. But at the end of the day, it is up to the people to decide. Up to the people to decide. It is 12:45. Let's take a short break to acknowledge the sponsors for this program. And when we come back, we'll continue Voices right here on WinFM 98.9. Let's take this break and we'll be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Triple that cash back. From now until December 31st, Hosford's Furniture and Appliances in Ashley Furniture Home Store is going to triple that cash back. Triple that cash back. You heard right. Hosford's is going to triple that never-ending cash back now with 3 big ways to save. 1. Get low monthly and weekly payments and no payment until February 2023. 2. Get a chance to win absolutely free groceries for 1 year. 3. Triple that never-ending cashback at Hosford's Furniture and Appliances in Ashley Furniture Home Store for even more groceries. Triple that cashback today at Hosford. Triple the savings. Triple the free groceries. Triple the extraordinary. Triple that never-ending cashback today. See store for details.
Just a quick notice from the Ministry of Education. It says the Ministry of Education has decided that all government schools will be closed at midday today due to the heavy rains. All parents are asked to collect or organize for their children to be collected from school. This is for St. Kitts. So schools will be closed today at midday. So they're closed now. So parents are encouraged to, asked rather, to collect their child or organize for their child or children to be collected from school. And this is as a result of the heavy rainfalls. Heavy rains that we are experiencing here in St. Kitts. Welcome back to Voices right here on WinFM 98.9. It is 12:50 and we're winding down. Of course, we end this program at 1:30, but the phone lines are open and we want to hear from you, the good listeners of WinFM 98.9. Call us at 466-0989 or 662 0989. The phone lines are open and we want to hear from you. The as I said, there's a lot going on. There's a lot happening in the Federation. There's a lot going on locally, regionally, and in the midst of all of this, our people have to remain focused and stay together, especially when it comes around to elections and the politics and everything. I know at times people will get emotional and passionate, as that is expected. People are going to get emotional and passionate. That's human nature, especially when you're dealing with something like this. And the reason why I'm saying this now is because I remember looking at a picture from the recent sitting of Parliament there. I think it was the one not gone last Friday, or perhaps it could have been the first official sitting where they had the three bills. And I saw a picture of the current Prime Minister, Dr. Terence Drew, and the former Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Harris, basically greeting each other. Then I saw one with the now leader of the opposition, Mark Brantley, the Premier of Nevis, that is, and the former Prime Minister. And I sat there. I didn't say a word. I just looked at the pictures and I said to myself, boy. And we out here tearing down and pulling down people, making enemies with people over these people, while they're there skinning teeth and laughing and shaking hands and hugging, and oh my gosh, So it's rather interesting that we allow these things to tear up friendships and family and all of that, right? And then of course you have those people who, because you are not saying what they want you to say, or you are not doing what they want you to do, you're wrong. And there are some people who would go the length and breadth to intimidate you. There are some people who would go the length and breadth to ensure that you are silenced and your voice is not heard. And I've seen these things happen right here in our small island, small countries, St. Kitts and Nevis. But I looked at those pictures and I said to myself, man, if these guys could come together, if these guys could shake hands and smile and all of that, whether it is genuine or not. Let me put in that right there. Whether it is genuine or not. If they can do that, then I don't see why we have to be up in our feelings with each other. And so I say that to say that there is a local election coming in Nevis. And by nature, people are going to get emotional. People are going to get passionate. And that is fine. But we have to learn how to control our emotions. We have to learn how to, be a little bit understanding of the situation. Express yourself. Say how you feel, but respectfully. And respect the boundaries of other people. respect their personal space, respect their space. You know? I just wanted to put that there. I just wanted to say that. You may disagree, you may agree. That's absolutely fine. But I just wanted to put that there because we pull down each other too much in this place, boy. And then we wonder sometimes why, we're not further off or better off in life because we're not seeking to help each other. We're seeking to help other people or other things that have absolutely nothing to do with us. But instead of helping our own brothers and sisters, our neighbors, some of us, unfortunately, who are in a position to do something, turn a blind eye. We turn a blind eye. So as you approach, another campaign season, our people, you have to be understanding, reasonable, look at the situation. But for us to get down personal and this and the back and forth and the wait and the rah, all of that is temporary. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. It happens. It happens. Is it going to stop happening? No. I hear of an individual who said people who host talk shows need to use their platform to advocate for this and advocate for that. And that very same individual is an influential person, so use your platform to advocate for this and advocate for that. But I'm taking the advice that the individual is giving, using this platform to encourage people, You're entering that particular season. We have to be mindful of our surroundings and, think before we respond and think how your response would affect people. Think about all of that. It is 12:58 and you're listening to Voices right here on WinFM 98.9. It's Voices, so you don't want to hear my voice alone. I want to hear from you, the good people of St. Kitts and Nevis, your thoughts, your opinion, your views on what is happening here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Call us at 466-0989-762-0989. And of course, you can follow us on social media at WinMedia SKN via our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. We'll take a break now to give a shout out to our sponsors, and when we come back, we will continue the conversation for today.
Emergency shelters cannot accept
them. We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9 Win FM.
Here are your Horsford's Value Mart IGA Value Club Blue Tag specials, running November 3rd through 16th. Nabisco Oreo family size cookies, $19.99. Ocean Spread Craisins, $7.99. Chobani Greek yogurt, $5.69. Bagel Bites, $11.49. Essential Everyday Fries, $13.99. Downy Fabric Softener April Fresh, $23.99. And now our very low weekly
value deals. Cheerio cereals, $17.99. Ocean Spread Juice, $11.99. Essential Everyday Shredded and Chunk Cheeses, $7.99. Mueller's Pasta, $5.99. VO5 Shampoo and Conditioner, $4.99. Dawn Dish Detergent, $13.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Tell them inspiration.
Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí a
Value Mart.
Welcome back to Voices right here on WinFM 98.9. It is 3 minutes past the hour of 1 here in our studios. It is Monday, November 7th, 2022. A notice here from the St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service. It says the Office of the Cabinet Secretary informs that due to the inclement weather, permission has been granted for all government offices to close at 1 p.m. today, Monday, November 7, 2022. This, of course, excludes service officers. Please be safe and drive carefully on the road. So all government offices to close at 1 p.m. today, of course, due to the inclement weather, and it excludes the essential service officers, of course, essential services. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, school closed today at noon, 12 noon. Parents and guardians should arrange to have their child or children collected. Welcome back to Voices right here on WinFM 98.9. Just a few minutes left before we wrap up the conversation for today. I want to put out a question to you, the listeners, to get your thoughts on this, your views, your opinions. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there is the upcoming Nevis Island Assembly elections constitutionally due in March of 2023, but may be called in December of this year. What are your thoughts in terms of what do you think the outcome of that election would be? Based on the recently held federal elections there. What are your thoughts for the upcoming elections there on the island of Nevis? Let me just say there, I find that, boy, we always in this campaign. We are always in campaign mode because literally the country, their elections are almost every 2 years. In the federation, of course, you have the national elections and then you have the local elections. So we're always in the campaign mode. But what your thoughts, your views in terms of what do you think the outcome is going to be? It has been basically a full 5-year period. The last time elections were held there was in December of 2017. So basically it has been a full term. So looking at their performance and the response or the performance of the opposition, what are your thoughts in terms of the outcome there? Call us and be a part of the conversation at 466-0989 or 662-0989. That is 466-0989 or 662-0989. I as I said earlier, talking about the polls and so, it is equally important to follow the polls and study some of the reports that pollsters would do, because they go out and do deep research on a number of factors relating to an election. And so it's not a case where I believe pollsters just get up and, but I believe this person is going to win. They actually go out. And and collect real data. But then again, you're dealing with people, and people are, I would say, unpredictable. People are unpredictable. You don't know what to expect until the day comes. And so you may be thinking that, man, it's going to go this way. And then the time comes and you get a complete shocker. So based on what's been happening there on the island, what are your thoughts? What do you think the outcome would be? What are some of the areas that you think a government on Nevis would have to focus on. Of course, the biggest things are always health care and education. Our people, time and time again, continue to call for better and affordable health care, quality health care, that is. And our people continue to call for a reformed education system, or basically adding to the education system. I know as it is right now, as small as it may seem to be, the government is embarking upon I think they said an island-wide renovation or rehabilitation project in terms of fixing up the schools and other educational facilities owned by the government, which is really good. I mean, sometimes you look at this state of these classrooms. But, what are some of the areas that you think a government in Nevis should focus on? The issues on St. Kitts are not necessarily the issues on Nevis. Some of the things that one would want to see done here in St. Kitts are not necessarily the case in Nevis. A completely different population, different mindset, different thinking, different expectations, and all of that. So some of the areas that you think the government should really focus on. I know for quite some time we've been talking about diverting from tourism, which is basically the bread and butter of the Caribbean, but shifting the focus. So instead of, focusing entirely on tourism, and then we end up in a situation where there is there's a hurricane or another pandemic, God forbid, then it all comes to a stop. Of course, the tourism is seasonal, and so it has its seasons when it's going to be booming and money is going to be coming into the country. And there are seasons when, not much really is going to happen. So these are the areas: affordable and quality health care for our people. Really sad that, sometimes people would have to go and have to seek financial assistance to get that medical attention that they so need. So these are the areas. I mean, for me, tackling the issues, tackling the concerns that our people have, and not being a government that is deaf, and the people are saying, hey, we want to see something new, something fresh, a change happen in this particular area, and then we say, okay, noted, and then we move on. We completely forget about what our responsibility is. We have some callers on the line, so let us take this call for this afternoon. We seem to have lost that caller. Please call us back at 466-0989 or 662-0989. That is 466-0989 or 662-0989. It is 12 minutes past the hour of 1 o'clock, and the phone lines are open right here on Voices on WinFM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. We are taking your calls, your thoughts on the upcoming local elections there in Nevis, in terms of what do you expect to happen in terms of the outcome, looking at the government's performance, and looking at the response from the opposition parties, because there are two parties. You also have the moral restoration movement. So based on that, what would your answer be? What would your conclusion be? Of course, we can all have different views here, but when I look at back to these things of doing the polls, and so you sometimes, it's best to wait until the day of. You feel out the ground, what's happening on the ground, and what's happening. Are people responding? Are people not responding? Whether it be to government or opposition. And then that is when you're able to make a clear determination as to what you think the outcome would be, you know. But these things are really important, because we're having elections so often now. Our people are drained, our people are tired, our people are weary of, having to go to the polls so often to choose representatives. In the case of Nevis, we were just at the polls in August of this year, and before March 2023, we will have to go back to the polls. So this is definitely something that has to be fixed. And I'm not sure if it can be fixed from the federal end of things, but we'll see. Let's take this caller. Caller, you're on the air. Good afternoon.
Oh, yes. Good afternoon, Devon.
And how are you doing today?
Oh, not bad, thanks. Enjoying the show, the blessing. Now, in regards to climate change, I have been observing over time all around the world the amount of rain that in recent time fall in a short, a quick time that really impact and communities all around the world. To the extent that they tell you they did know that they would get that amount of rain. Yeah, I'm in Pakistan, and I'm in a number of countries, surprising people. And locally, I don't know if there's a flood warning in effect. I don't know. But climate change, the pattern is that the rain are falling. They tell you can get 3 months rain, 6 months rain, as far as 6 months rain in about 24 hours. You understand? Mm-hmm. And so when I observe all of these occurrences in other countries, I adjust my mind to our own local situation here. We over time, quite a number of persons live very close to guts, very close to rivers. And from what I've been observing, this climate change thing, the amount of rain that could fall in the mountain, people could have a rude awakening that live very close to waterway. I have seen it. Many countries. They tell you they couldn't believe that so much rain fall in a short time. And as this rain is falling, I do not know if the local Met Office issue a flood warning. I don't know if a flood warning in effect, but also must take into consideration in mind that we are living in climate change where the weather pattern is changing. And so they must be able to, if they live it close to waterway, they should be able to react and respond quickly as possible to safety. So that is my observation. This rain that is falling, we do not know how much is falling in the mountain, but the pattern is you get 6 months rain in 24 hours, and it's happening so often that it left people all around the world really traumatized. The house gone, the crops gone, and water is just there for weeks and months in some cases. So let us remember those persons who are living very close to the waterway. And I think the Met Office should, this is the kind of educate our people in the time in which we are living. In the time in which we are living, climate change, and incidentally they're having a big conference there in Egypt right now.
COP27.
Yes. And I heard the head of that conference said that the climate change situation is on the way to hell. You know? Climate change is on the way to hell. The way how people are treating the environment. Would that mean that the world have little hope in controlling climate change? So, let us act. And I would want to hear some information in regards to this present weather. I think that office officials should be able to tell people what is happening. Understand government sent off people 1 o'clock and school closed 12, but
yes.
we must know how long this weather would last. You know, I know really the Met Office can himself follow the weather trend, because I told you 24 hours away is like 6 months away in our country. This is happening regularly, all because of climate change. Anyhow, thank you very much.
And thank you, caller, for your contribution to the program. It is 20 minutes past the hour of 1. We're going to have an early end of the program today. Of course, I'm trying to get back over to Nevis. I don't want all the boats to stop running and then I can't get over. But we'll take some more calls. Let's take this caller. Caller, you're on the air. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Cornelius.
How are you today?
I want to make a little contribution towards your program, and I think, you were talking about the the election between the two islands, right?
Yes.
How to solve this problem, I don't know. I remember one time some people were suggesting that when they're having the federal election, they should have the local election same time. But I don't think that is going to work. You understand? Because if the federal election calls the election, you see the Nevis Island administration, they may not ready for a general election. When I said I mean, okay, our election is a 5-year cycle, right?
Yes.
Now, if the federal election decides to call a snap election, 3 years within to the 5 years, you understand? The Nevis Island administration, they may not ready for a snap election. You see where I'm coming from?
Yes, I'm following you. Yes.
You see? So, I don't know, but, they would have to come up with mechanisms, to solve this problem, because, as I listen to talk shows, we've been hearing, they say, the Nevisians has been fed up with, all these loaded elections.
Yeah. But, to add to what you're saying, it makes a lot. I see where you're coming from, because if it is that you're going to have the set date where St. Kitts and Nevis, we vote at the same time for both federal and local, what happens if at the federal level the Prime Minister at the time decides to call the elections? Are we in Nevis forced to call local elections,
Exactly. That's my point. Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah,
right?
I understand where you're coming from. And that's a fair argument there. A very interesting one as well.
Yeah. But how it is right now, they could be going, together, because if the Nevis Island administration calls the election this year, next month, there would be both within the 5-year cycle. It's just a couple of months would make the difference. You understand?
Oh yes. Yeah. Oh yes.
Yeah, because
yes.
the federal government will be going back to the polls in 2027. And if Nevis call their own, well, later on this month or next month, the same thing would happen. They would be going back to the polls 2027.
That is true. That is true.
Just a couple of months might make the difference. So maybe if they continue this way, it might be able to, work things out, But it's debatable, I think, we need more input from the general public, what they should do, what they can come up with, to ease the lot of elections, well, I must say for Nevis. So that's my little contribution.
And thank you, caller, so much for your contribution to this program. We'll take just one more call and then we wrap up the discussion for today. You're listening to Voices right here on 1FM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Let's take this caller. Caller, you're on the air. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. Lovely weather, lovely weather for some letters. This long, that's a lovely letter, Lord, not me, Miss Mommy, I just studied that. Yes. Breaking news. It's a ledge. Not for me, no, it's a ledge. Can I say it? Because it's a ledge.
What are you referring to?
Company down there. Whoever want to come sell it, let us sell it. Because we don't have it for we own already. It was under the British law, minister. And however we get it good. And it going good for poor people. And we get in our channel and so good. So whoever over the cable company now, it's alleged, want to some company begin with a D, want to come in here, come buy it. Because they try it already with money, they ain't get it. I beg them to power company, Because it's just more money going to go. He will just go up skyrocketing. So these investors, what happened, they try a thing with one prime minister, they ain't get it. As a new one going, they'll try because sometimes the new one ain't understand the offering. They give the person before, they refuse it, so they come in now with a big offering. I beg them the power cable company here and Larry country run good. And I don't know where all of them are going every minute phone. I'm mad enough. I don't know why I'm to them here in 6 months now and they don't go out nearly a million times. What happened to them? They're afraid they never go away yet. Well, I don't went to all of St. Thomas come back, and if I did went if I were qualified to be in the cabinet, I want to go every minute go St. Thomas, go St. Puerto Rico. So what happened? They going to move. You got years while they do the service, they will be able to see them. I beg them stop wait to probably patch your money. Stop left the money when Mr. Timothy leave in there. Don't waste it up when they come and I tell her when he hear about, he ain't look good in cabinet mine. They don't say one thing and then we look the same another. Yeah, with the truth or nothing but the truth. We want to hear what's going on. So waste up the money on them people who they walk with but you're this and you're that. They need that. Two people could go and come back. For the year, I'm sorry, for the time they gone in. So one person don't go with 3 and 4 times. I beg them hard and please leave the money, because nobody know how next year going to knock in mine. 2023, stop waste the money. I need Taiwan and other place than him. Egypt and all them there. To be a delegate could go. Why you want so much people going for? I don't know. Remember me, I'll keep my mouth shut on the sun. You have a good afternoon and go home, enjoy the weather with your sweetness. Your honey, your sugar for you, yeah? Yeah, man.
All right.
Man, rally behind them that tonight. Water pump, but yes, I rally behind them still because I did want a little change. And if that's what they give me some pepper, miss up and pepper bone, miss up and pepper in my rice. I don't like that,
All right.
I don't like it, so let them know the burn is them. When him, the nuts lady say they don't like it. Let the company, the cable company.
All right. Well, caller, thank you.
Where the manager for it now, tell the people them they want no buy it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for your contribution to this program, all right?
Yeah, you have a good afternoon. I better know how to eat them up, That's
yeah.
I'm in supplement. I'm going to tell you what it be. You could have supplement?
Colin, give me a good laugh this afternoon, boy. Thank you for your contribution to this program. It is 1:27. Let me say thank you so much for your contribution, your calls, your questions, and thank you so much. It is 1:27. I'll bring this program to a close. Before I do that, let me announce that the Insurance, Credit and Furniture and Appliances departments at the SL Hosfords will be closed at 2 p.m. today. So insurance, the credit, and the furniture and appliances for Hosfords, they are closing at 2 today. Please be guided accordingly. You guys, please drive safe on you. And before I go, right, I was supposed to call in this morning when he was having traffic talk. So this morning on my way to work, I was crossing the pedestrian crossing there by Social Security. We were all, it was about maybe 4 or 5 of us. We were all waiting for the light to turn, you know, when they show the walking man on the sign there for us to cross. And PB 6436, a silver Kia, while we are walking across, decides to drive out. Suppose I wasn't paying attention, then I would not have been here today. I would have probably been dead or at the hospital. PB 6436 nearly knocked me off the side of the pedestrian crossing this morning. Oh man, these drivers around here just they I don't even know what to say. And this ain't the first time, eh? This ain't the first time. This happened to me and a colleague of mine before. We were crossing on that pedestrian crossing there, and the vehicles coming at you, they ain't stopping. And we made a complaint to one of the traffic wardens, and they did absolutely nothing about it. We're gonna wait until something happens for us to say, "Oh Lord, if I've been no," and look, I ain't nobody gonna knock me down, you know. So, PB 6436, whoever you are, please take your time on the road. You guys have a good afternoon. You take care.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9.